Munich Königsplatz. Certainly the place in Munich that is most associated with the Nazi era. Perhaps with the exception of Odeonsplatz, where the beer hall putsch failed miserably in 1923. And through which both places are connected. But more on that later. So what is the Königsplatz, the King's Square? What was its origins? It has much to do with Munich's most influential king, Ludwig I of Bavaria, not to be confused with Ludwig II, the Mad King. Ludwig I realized that the small medieval town of Munich was no more fitting for the new kingdom of Bavaria. Space was needed for new ministries, representative buildings, universities and museums. Entire neighborhoods were designed from the ground up. Ludwig was also an advocate of Greek independence against the Ottomans. His second son, Otto, became the first king of independent Greece in 1832. So it was only logical that Munich also got a place to glorify Greek culture, based on the model of the Pantheon. First the architect Karl von Fischer, then Leo von Klenze received the commission to build the Munich Acropolis. Since the Königsplatz was still on the outskirts of the city in the first half of the 19th century and was therefore surrounded by greenery, it looked like an ancient temple complex. Today it's in the middle of the city. And then the Nazis marched all over it and changed the square for the worse. The first act was the burning of books by Munich students on May 10, 1933, including books by Freud, Tucholsky and Marx, to name just a few. To commemorate this day every year, the artist Wolfram Kastner burns the deck into the lawn. The second act was the remove of all greeneries and therefore reverse the original idea of the square. What is it with dictatorships and ugly squares? Moscow Square in St. Petersburg, Tiananmen Square in Beijing? Just a thought I had. The pitch squares was replaced with granite slabs. These were laid out so straight that the water could not drain away when it rained. The people of Munich made fun of it by calling the whole thing Plattensee, which is unfortunately an untranslatable joke. Plattensee is Lake Balaton in German, however literally translated it means Slabs Lake. Removing the trees and bushes on the east side of the square gave an unobstructed view on the newly built Führerbau and the administration building of the NSDAP. In between the so-called honor temples, Ehrentempel. In order to gain the building site, Jewish families were expropriated. The Führerbau was the location of the signing of the disgraceful Munich Agreement in 1938, when Czechoslovakia was forced to cede the Sudetenland. Some say the buildings were built in a neoclassical style. I prefer the term fascist architecture. It lacks any form of elegance and only radiates the cold will to power. Today the University of Music and Theatre can be found inside the building, and a much friendlier flag flies on its facade. Next to the Führerbau you could find the Annas Temple, which the Nazis erected to honor those Nazis who died during the beer hall putsch. 50 Nazis died in 1923 when Hitler's coup was stopped at the Odeonsplatz. The Nazis, who were obsessed by symmetry, couldn't stand the thought to build two temples with 7 sarcophagi in one and 8 in the other temple. So in typical Nazi fashion, they declared Karl Kuhn a Nazi, an unlucky bystander who got shot during the coup, trampling on the rights of individuals. In 1947, the honor temples were blown up by American troops. Today, only the bases remain and serve as reminders. In former times, you could find the Brown House, the headquarters of the NSDAP, behind the honor temples. Nowadays, you find the Museum of the Documentation Center for the History of National Socialism on its place. It is admission-free and definitely worth a visit. What I particularly like about the museum is that it doesn't end in 1945, but draws a line into the present, because unfortunately the evil spirit is still active in Germany and in almost every other country in the world. After the war, the Königsplatz was used as a parking lot for a while. 1988, the granite slabs were removed and the original condition of the square was restored. With a proper layer the Glyptothek in the north, a museum for Greek and Roman sculptures, and the state collection of antiquities in the south, where you can find antiquities from Greece and Italy. So one question remains: is the Königsplatz the most evil place in Munich? No, because there's no such thing as an evil place. Places have history, but what matters is how we fill them with life. Whether we turn a place of power into a place for the fine arts, or a place for marches to a place for warm summer nights. Even the most stained places in history, like the Dachau concentration camp, are now a place of learning and warning. Today the Königsplatz is once again what it was designed to be. Not a square for marches, glorifying a ruler, or an ideology. No, the Königsplatz is a homage to the culture that came before us, that of ancient Greece and Italy. I hope the video was informative for you and you enjoyed it, even though it was not very light-hearted this time. If you are interested in an exclusive guided tour, please don't hesitate to contact me. And of course, like, comment and subscribe, and see you in the next video.